all you space engineers out there. Commander Kingfish here, and I am back in Space Engineers 2. In the last episode, we finished up the new Helios missions, and I am now back at the base. And as you can see, I've got some stuff done around here. And so kind of want to show you a little bit, kind of what I've got going. And it's glad that I had captured all of those parts. And I'm still probably not going to have enough. I haven't found much in the way of ores around here. I did find one small node of ore. I think it was right over in there inside a rock of iron. And I mined that all out while I was out prospecting a little bit. So you can kind of see what I've got going here. Now the plan is to really kind of build this out. Nothing too fancy. What I really want to do is, if we go into our G menu, what I really want to do is, if we go to production, establish each and every one of these. Now, this is the assembler, the fabricator, the refinery, the smelter, the O2 H2 generator, and the gear forge. And what along with that, that would include a survival kit, which I've actually got that built, and energy, some reactors, I've got that built, batteries, and solar panels. So those have all been built. And so that's what I want to accomplish here with this build. Once I get that much done, then we'll probably take a hiatus until the next contracts come out, or the next section. Now, if we look at the map, I see that they've already included this in here. We can't fast travel there. This was Helios that we just finished. And so I think that's going to be the next sector that will open up. And if it kind of plays out, I think they're probably going to start opening up all of these sectors. And once these are all open, then I think the survival will come. They'll release the survival, which that's just kind of my speculation. There's nothing concrete on that. And if you go and look over at the GPS, I've removed some of the stuff. What I found was when I went back to the Outlook station, or the Outlaw station, let's close this, everything was gone. It had despawned. There was nothing left there except the ore deposits. So I suspect that that's going to be the case with everything that we have done. And so there was no reason to clutter up the screen with all of those GPS coordinates that we can't get rid of. And so those, I just go ahead and remove those. Not going to have much in the way of being able to go and salvage parts unless I hit an unknown signal somewhere, and then I can salvage some parts off of that. The reason I'm leaving this light armor not completed is that takes a lot of iron and a lot of steel plates. And so right now it's functional. I would like to get it all done, but this is going to be the landing pad for the sledge. And the reason I got the sledge parked over there is just so I don't have to listen to the noisy hydro engines. Even when I have them turned off, they seem to want to keep running. So I've got it parked over there so we don't have to listen to it. Actually, if I go over to it, you'll hear that they are not actually running right now. So I'm just going to leave it parked over here. The only thing I really need to hop in here for is to get some energy, and we'll go ahead and do that right now. Let's hop back out. I've swapped out. Oh, well, so you can see the battery is at 100% and our hydrogen's at 100%. So we're in pretty good shape. So what I have done, we hop back out. I've got this completely empty of parts, so everything's been moved over to the main big large cargo bin. And I did create a charging station, is what I like to call it anyway. So all of those power modules that we've been collecting, I've got them all charged up at 100%. So we should be pretty good on power as needed. The only thing I would need to do over there at the base, if the reactors run out of uranium, is to build a battery, and then I could take those power modules and put over there. And I currently have one last one that's getting charged up. If we take a look at that, and let's hop into here, and we'll see that, oh, it's at 100%. So we'll go ahead and move it over. It wasn't very low. I pulled it out of the sledge and put a fully charged one in over there. So that's what we've got there. This cargo bin is empty. I had two others. I dismantled those and for the parts. Now, one of the nice things about this, you can see that I don't have to necessarily try to come up with something for supports. And so I built these supports out of some blocks here, so the half-meter blocks. So if I bring up 9 and we hit R to change blocks, so you'll see the half-meter cube. And so I put one of those right down here at the bottom, and to get at the center where I wanted to, I hit control, and then I'm able to move it one section at a time. So I put that in there like that, and then I have those running out for 2, but if we change our block to a slope, and let's rotate that in, we put that like that. So the way I built these was just kind of rotating these around like that, and then so I'd use 3 of them. So we rotate this around. I'm not going to build this out because I wanted to have every other one for support, and I think that looks pretty good actually. So let's put and then Shift R goes back to the previous block, and so 2 blocks in there, and then I would be able to weld that all up. So that's how I built the supports out, and I think that looks pretty good. So that's one of the things in Space Engineers that's going to allow us to be able to do that. So let me hit right click, and I can remove these that I put in, and then I'll kind of show you what else I've got going here on the base. Okay, so this is, I just kind of threw up some sort of design, and nothing fancy, just something so it would show that it had some supports for the landing area. Now there's other options that you could use. There's some cylindrical blocks. If we go over to here, I think it's on this one. If we go, yeah, so you can kind of see the round blocks. They've got the larger ones. You kind of put those in for posts, something about like this. Let's rotate that around, maybe at the center, and stick those in, and that might not look too bad. But I went ahead with just the large blocks and plop those down. One other thing while I'm thinking about it, I want to show you. There's a reason I built up so that I wasn't dealing with these rocks. If you see the individual rocks like that and like this, now you can take those out. But if we walk over here, there was one right here. Where did it go? Right there. You can kind of see where I'm hitting a collision right here. There was a rock right here, and I took it out, but the collision doesn't necessarily go away. It does when you first take the rock out. We'll come over here, and you can take them out with the drills. So if we come over here, let's get back to our drill. And so you can kind of just, and so you it'll disappear. It should here quickly or shortly. There it goes. Now, the collision is gone when you first do it, but when you start the game back up again, when you get out and start it back up, that collision comes back. So that's a bug, and I'm pretty sure that they're aware of that. It was terrible on Vodur. One of the nice things about this, where you don't have too much in the way of rocks, on Vodur you could take out the trees, but then it would come back, and I've gotten back into game where I might be built where there was some collision, and the parts that I had and stuff in there kind of exploded. So now there was a rock here, and so I haven't run into any problems. So that collision apparently didn't have a problem with that, but I've just tried to refrain from building and removing the rocks for now until we get out of alpha and we get into survival. And hopefully that a lot of that stuff's going to be fixed and repaired. And so that's why I was building up and into a clear space. Now this area out in here is where I'm going to have the main production facility. I am not going to create a building out of it. I'm going to put it just out on the open platform and just kind of get everything hooked in together. I did, let's get back to our welder. Now I did create a room here with the reactors, and you can see I've got the reactors in here. I built those up, put the sliding doors in. They are working. I've put lights in right here. Now I used the corner blocks, the interior wall corner, and those are, well, in my opinion, they're a little short. They're not up. They should be up one more block, honestly, so that you can kind of build a smooth ceiling. So what I did was I just put floor blocks on top of this block here and build a floor out as for the ceiling. And then I put a couple of windows in on each side. So it's kind of just a basic room, but it does house the reactors, and these are all plumbed in. So if we come over here and say, let's close that, even though there's no oxygen or anything. If we come over here, you can kind of see, if we look at the grid, you can see the reactor right here. And I had 268, and so it's ever so slowly going down. There's a little bit of power being used here and there, and that's probably because I have set up a survival kit. So if the unthinkable happens, I at least have a place to respawn back to, and I can hit and hold F and recharge. But if you come down here, you've got a button that says register. So I registered this survival kit so that it knows that this is my home base. Now I can deregister that by holding F, and then it'll deregister it, and I can set something up somewhere else. But this is set up as a home base. So my assumption is it will, if I have a tragic accident, I'll respawn here and then be able to proceed back and hopefully be able to got enough established that I would be able to build some sort of ship and be able to continue on, depending on what you have for parts. Now, the other thing, too, is on the way in, I still have not found much in the way of ores and stuff around here. So if you look up there, there's an asteroid that's 22 kilometers away, and that asteroid there has silicon, iron, and gold. So that's at least 26 kilometers. So I have a feeling I'm not necessarily going to find much any closer down here on the surface. So asteroids might end up being the better option. Now, let's see. What do I have in my inventory? Let's take a look at that. I've got some iron and stuff. Let's do this. I think I wanted to build this out one more platform or one more block, and I'm using half blocks. Now that has originally it was working out pretty well, but that has created a bit of a problem trying to get things lined up. One of the things that the half block does is you can kind of pretty much build. It doesn't block you from building along the edge or the bottom of the half block, but I had to, in order to get this to connect in, you can kind of see that that's conveyor slices. So that's the curve, and then I put, I think, I thought I had finished that. Let's get that up here. Can't have anything left quite undone. That's the other problem too, is trying to get close enough to build all of these out. There we go, that's all built out. So I put a conveyor short in, and then I put the container, which is sitting on top of these blocks here, and then I connected that up with the slice and the short, and then was able to get that to line up with the curved conveyor, and then that ties all back in. So you do have a lot of options in trying to build out and make things line up. And again, I was trying to do this over the wall. Now, I ran into a bit of a problem because I wanted to put the survival kit and the gear forge next to the wall. Well, the gear forge does not have any connectors or ports on the bottom, and I think it has one port. I don't even think that's a port. I built that out, so the only port that it has that I could connect into was a large port on the back. So I used a conveyor adapter and have connected that in. The survival kit has a large port, has a small port on the side, which I am utilizing over here, and it also has a large port on the bottom and a large port on top. Those are connected into the whole system, and so I can access the system from here. I can get into the cargo container, I can get to the reactor, and then the connector that I have built over there for the ship. So it is all tied in. And once I build out the gear forge, which that's one of the things I want to do today, so let's go ahead and let's get started building on this, and we'll get this connected in. This way we can make sure that the gear forge, I'm missing materials. Oh, I probably need some iron. So I am trying to be conservative. A lot of stuff I am not building out completely, except for, and I don't know why I walked all the way over here. I could have accessed it from
inventory full.
The survival kit. Old habits die hard. So you got to have this built in and connected so that you'll notice that this block turns orange. I can't build this block, but I can build this block here because it's connected to a built block. Now I think they're going to be putting in area welding and stuff here, or at least wise that's one of the things that they are looking at. So that will probably make this a lot easier. And let's see if we can get this gear forge built. I should have enough stuff to build it, I think. Oh, motors. I must have used that. So let's go ahead and access from this port. Do I have motors? I thought I still had motors. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I do. Let's grab 20 of those. And once we get this gear forge built, okay, so we should have access. Let's see. I think this gives us access to the inventory. And this also gives us access to the rest of our system. So right here. So we've got a M2 welder. Now we should be able to, if we come over here, we should be able to see what our production queues are. So we can build new tools here. So what I would like to do is so in order to build a M3 welder, we need a magnesium bar, a combustion chamber, and a Mark II welder. Let's go back to our inventory and let's see what we got in the grid. A magnesium bar. I'm not sure. I got magnesium, but I don't know if I have a magnesium bar. Got a lead bar. I know I've got a combustion chamber. I've seen that. That's the ion chamber. There's a compressor. Chemical synthesizer. Maybe I don't have a magnesium, but I do have magnesium. So I guess once I get whichever component it is or production machine, I'll be able to make that magnesium bar. I'm assuming that'll be the refinery. And so once we get the refinery built. So anyway, so this room is going to be basically the gear forge, the survival kit. I'm going to make this a bit of a living room or living area. I'll put a door right here. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and do that. That way, actually, no, that's not going to work because I want to put, well, let's see how this is going to look. Let's go to, here we go, 7. Let's turn that, rotate that. You know, I wonder if I've been building this wrong. You do that. I've been turning it the other way, and then you would put your floor in and then your roof on top. I wonder if this snaps in here. No, it does not. Oh, that's because that's half block. I got a full block in over here. Well, you can kind of see how I've been putting them in. Maybe I've been putting them in upside down. I've been managed to get them to work. Well, let's go ahead and do that again. We'll just put that right there. And then I'm going to put the door in right here. And we can put that right. Let's make sure we've got that lined up. I believe I do. No, I didn't. A little hard sometimes. That's where if you... Let's do that. Let's see, did that get it? Yeah, that's got it lined up. So sometimes it's a little hard to see exactly where you're trying to put these, but that's one thing that you can just remove the hologram and then replace it again, which makes it kind of nice actually. So I'm kind of liking the hologram. So let's go ahead and get back to 1. So you kind of see what I've got going there. That's going to be that room. I'm going to try to build a bed, and of course that stuff's all non-functional right at the moment. And put some tables and stuff like that. So I'll kind of continue to work on that. And then again, this is the landing pad. This is a cargo bin. We had enough stuff that we're able to store everything in there. And you can kind of see it does have a lot of storage. We haven't come close to even utilizing all of it. So we've got all of this stuff in here so far that we've collected. But you can see my supply is starting to go down, and I think what I'm going to have to do is take a trip flying around in the sledge and see if we can't find some unknown signals to grind down and salvage and find some more ore deposits. So some of my problems have been, though, trying to get these pipes lined up, and that it just takes a bit. So, but basically that's kind of what I wanted to show you today on what I've gotten done. I've been doing kind of a lot of building away, and so I kind of felt like it's probably easier for me to go ahead and just build a bunch of stuff, because I have to sit and stop and think quite a bit, and as I get stuff put in, and then I can kind of weld it up, and then maybe do these short videos like this. So I think we're going to probably call this pretty good right here, but I just wanted to give you the progress of where I am at, and while we're waiting for the next set of or the next sector to open up. And so I'm going to continue to build on this base. Once I get all the production facilities in, or production equipment in, and then kind of call it good, I guess, until we get sectors in, because there's really not a lot to do other than just kind of messing around, throwing blocks together, trying to figure things out. Now I am in the main campaign or tutorial or whatever you want to call it. I could be over into creative, which will just like creative in SE1, where you actually put the block down, it's actually built. You don't have to have all the supplies to build it. So that's kind of the one thing that's different in creative versus, or between creative and the survival mode right now. That's really the only real difference, in that you've just got to mine the ores and stuff like that. All right, well, I think we're going to just kind of wrap it right here. I hope this is kind of giving you an idea of what SE2 is going to kind of be about. I do like it here on Kemik, because you're not dealing with all the collision from the plants and stuff. I like the collision on the plants, but when you remove them, that collision needs to go away. So hopefully that will be the case, and they'll take care of that. And then a few other bugs and stuff like that. All right, well, all you space engineers out there, if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up. It really does help out the video. And please subscribe. That will really help out the channel. Okay, engineers, keep your heads low, keep building away, and don't get shot. And with that, Commander Kingfish is out of here, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching, everyone.